Hey everyone, and welcome to Ricky's Rockin' Reviews. I wanted to talk to you guys about In the Valley of the Headless Men by L.P. Hernandez. This was sent to me by Cemetery Gates in exchange for an honest review. I did write a review on my Instagram page like I do for all the other books that I review here on my channel. And I have a lot to say about this one. It's a novella, but it tells a really interesting story about Joseph. And his mother just passed away, and he has a brother, and his name is Oscar, and they're both kind of torn up about her passing. And what initially really grabbed me about the story was all the little details that go with losing someone. Like the lemonade that she made was still in the refrigerator, and they realized that once they finished drinking it, that was the last of their mother's lemonade that they'll ever have. And there were so many like poignant moments like that. And LP has this like really, it's like he can tangibly touch the suffering and the heartache, and it just comes across really well in the page. And so that's what initially like just really grabbed me. But also what made me want to read the book was this promise of this mysterious place called the Nahanni Valley. It's a national park in Canada. Now, without spoiling anything, they're going through their mother's items, and these two brothers have spent a lot of time away from each other, and they don't really know each other very, very well. So being in their mother's house and looking through her items is bringing up a lot of memories that they had, and they do share one thing in common, which is that they both have different fathers. And this is a big point of contention with them because their fathers were very different in the way that they shared their trauma with their sons. So we have Joseph, who was kind of abandoned by his father. His father didn't really pay attention to him when he was growing up, and he would miss out on a lot of big moments in his life, like his birthday. And he would be the kind of dad that would promise him, fun weekends together and going to amusement parks, and always have to cancel. Meanwhile, for Oscar, his father was physically abusive. So that's something to keep in mind in the story, and it plays a big part, which there's a lot of interesting threads that stem off of that. But anyways, when they're going through their mother's things, they find a stack of letters that were addressed to Joseph, and they were from his father. A lot of them were, like I said, his father was promising him things and just kind of making up excuses, and that's what his letters were always like containing. Now they do find this one letter, and in this letter, Joseph's father is saying that he is going to go on a trip to the Nahanni Valley to kind of see what it's all about, and it ends up being like the last letter that his mother ever received from him. And so Joseph and Oscar, in a way, they both they have this like idea kind of germinating in their head that they need to go there and see, they need to kind of find Joseph's father, or they want to go see why his father wanted to go over there. And they do some research, and they find out that there's like so many like legends about giants and like like ghosts of like headless people that might be stalking the grounds, and prehistoric animals, and it's like a whole nother world. So they're very enticed to go there. Plus, they kind of see it as a way that they can kind of rekindle their brotherly connection. And so they go on this expedition. So they fly off to Canada. And once they get there, they have to kind of take a private small plane to get to this remote area. And at the same time, we have Joseph, who has previously had a relationship with this girl, Jillian, and they went through possibly the biggest heartbreak that anyone can ever have, which is losing a child. I won't speak too much on that, but initially you can tell that loss kind of severed the relationship. And so Jillian kind of reconnects with Joseph, and she wants to go with him on this expedition that he's told her about, to be there as a supportive friend, especially in this time of loss. You know, he just lost his mother. So the three of them go, and some crazy stuff ensues. This valley, this park is like possessed by something. It's like a haunted place, and you're initially like really put off by some of the things that start happening and some of the things that they see. It's a very beautiful place, but things are just straight up not right, like from day one, possibly from like the moment they land. And even the guy that's kind of like flying them over there and giving them initial warnings, he's kind of quirky too. And getting into this anymore would be like spoiling a lot of the fun, but I kind of attributed some of the things that were going on in here as kind of like a magical realism, but in a really twisted way where, like I said, it feels like a haunted place. And they're going through some, I guess I would say, obstacles that would seem really impossible in the real world. There's definitely something going on here. And old tension from the past comes back with all these three characters in the way that they're connected. Like I said, Joseph and his brother had different upbringings. Both had deadbeat fathers, bad fathers. And then at the same time, Jillian and Joseph had a history, and is there a future for them? And now I wanted to read a little excerpt of Joseph, his brother, and Jillian arriving. Though the land was rousing, there was a strange stillness, like a movie set after the crew has retired and only the scenery is left behind. It was too beautiful, too immense. I felt no bigger than the bees bobbing past my ankles. The sense of overwhelm bled the strength from my knees. My lungs ached from the cold, clean air. I never wanted to see another sky, to breathe other air than this. I understood why Pilot Bob stayed. Had my father stood here or somewhere nearby? Did he make it this far? Or was it only a passing interest? The joy swelling in my chest found an anchor, dropping it into my stomach and chilling it to ice. He traveled, or wished he had, to the end of the world. He went that far for himself. He raised children that did not share his blood. So that's some really, really good writing there. And there's revealed just another reason why Joseph would feel abandoned. You know, his father had a different family as well. So, I mean, that must hurt for sure. And so what I really liked was that LP kind of blends nature and love together in this story. In a way that the way that I would explain it is that, of course, we fear what we do not know, and we clearly do not know a lot about nature, and especially in this park, this like infamous park where strange things happen, and we do not know how to connect sometimes. We do not know how to confront how we feel about people, about the people that we even love. And so that is all kind of interwoven, and LP just does a really good job of making it all tie together. And I kind of compare it to the book A Walk in the Wood, and also a little bit like the movie Interstellar, with the level of magical realism and the visuals, especially towards the end. This is a really unique story. So lastly, I would also say that you can tell that LP put a lot of himself in here. He even dedicated the story to his brother. This is like a brotherly story. And I'm definitely a fan of his now, even so much so that I went out and picked up the Stargazers story from him that he did for the Mother Horror My Dark Library collection, which sounds really cool too in its own right. So when I do get to read this, I'll definitely be making a review and video about this too. Sounds really cool. Now, if this is the type of story that you think you'd be interested in reading, I have links in the description below so you can go and get it and check it out for yourself. And if you'd be so kind to leave a comment, if you have read the book or if there's anything similar that you suggest for me, I'd really love to hear that. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more story reviews like this. Thank you guys and have a good one.